Hi, I'm Susy Williams, heading the quality function at IPsoft Global Services Limited. IPsoft is an industry leader in the remote infrastructure management space, and we've managed to put our footprint in the industry by the exceptional technology which we have managed to put in place. As I sit back and think of all the improvements which I've managed to accomplish over the past couple of years in the organization, I'm amazed at how the Six Sigma principles have enabled me to implement industry standards which have helped our organization to grow beyond exceptional limit. It's been identified that 42 to 45% of costs in the remote infrastructure management industry comes from the people cost, and just by cutting out the costs on that one aspect, we would be able to achieve huge benefits. And that's one area where IPsoft has focused on extensively and have managed to come up with automated systems in place. So what I'm talking about over here is we've managed to put together, through extensive research, self-healing infrastructure systems which automatically fix an issue as soon as it comes across. And here, the involvement of an engineer is limited to only exceptional and really tough technical problems, rather than focusing on the mundane tasks which come across their way every day. And today when I look back, I still remember the time when we had these customer requests and queries tracked through emails, and that would be too much of a cumbersome process and completely error prone, because you had to keep a tab on the emails which would flow into your system. And IPsoft started developing a product which would actually help them to manage the emails flowing in through 160 to 200 odd customers into our system. And you have a proper tracking mechanism in place. And this has been a really remarkable product, because we kept on adding to the same in terms of adding the monitoring systems in place and everything in place, which actually, today it has become a worldwide industry accepted product which we sell for millions. And today when I look back at my contributions to that specific product alone, I've managed, I still remember when we had one of our teams getting involved in the BPO functionality, where they had to pick calls and then log the calls inside the ticketing system. So you had these engineers who would pick up the calls, then they would note down the customer requests in a notepad, and then they would log the case into the ticketing system, which would any case mean about 10 minutes of their time to attend to each and every call. And just by cutting out that one function, where we managed to put together a new ticket creation portal which would automatically log the systems as soon as they note it down, we managed to cut out the handling time to about 1 to 2 minutes, which resulted in a huge customer satisfaction and overall helped us with saving the costs. And that's another functionality which is being added to the industry product which I was talking about, and that was put in place by me. Another thing is, of course, we had a lot of customer requests coming in stating that they would want their monitoring systems to be muted for a specific period of time, maybe because they were doing some maintenance on the systems. And in that particular case, you had the engineers who would try to log the monitoring system, put it into a downtime in a specified time period, and you had customers who would call in from different time zones. So the engineers had to calculate the time zones, they had to put that time zone, the specific time zone in place. And a lot of cases they would end up making some mistake or the other just because of lack of concentration. So we just thought, how do we get around this particular problem? And that is when we realized, okay, why don't we put an automated system whereby the customer themselves can actually schedule the downtime. This, as I realized today during the Master Black Belt training, is actually a TRIS principle, which is the self-service principle. And that actually helped us in cut out customer dissatisfaction to a large extent, where we have 100% success rate just because of one factor which we addressed. Of course, another TRIS principle, which is a color change, where you had a response time of 15 minutes for each and every customer query and customer request. And how do you ensure that your operational staff gets to know about it? You have the tickets which turn into a yellow when it's about 10 minutes and then into a red when it's 15 minutes, indicating a breach in the SLA. And that's another aspect, which has really helped us in attending to issues at the right time. The opportunities for improvement in your organization would be tremendous if you just keep a watch out. And that is where the Lean and Six Sigma principles together help you. Especially when you talk about Lean, you're helping to cut out the waste, the non-value added activities within the organization. And when you talk about Six Sigma, reduce the variation through statistical methods. And that's where you can contribute quite a lot. You might think you're just one person, but there's no limit to what one person can do, as I've realized. So good luck with your Six Sigma implementation within your organizations, and I'm sure that you will be successful.